So listen to these powerful testimonies and I'll be back to talk about it.
My 16-week-old baby, and I just had pain, uncontrollable pain, couldn't explain it. Rushed me to the hospital. When I got to the hospital, I was in pain again. They couldn't figure out what was happening to me, but my heart rate was elevated, everything was elevated. I think within 24 hours, they then figured out that my lungs had filled up with fluid. They induced me into a coma, and from that point, all my organs started shutting down. They couldn't figure out what was happening with me. I got admitted into intensive care unit. Like I said, I had a 16-week-old baby at home, so there you go, the pictures. I was induced into a coma. I was in that coma for about 2.5 months. In that time, they just couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. So I was in like a local hospital, but I needed a bed in a specialist hospital because what they were dealing with, they couldn't deal with it. So they had to every day call the consultants from the specialist hospital to consult on my case. Whilst one day in the hospital, I think like they had exhausted all measures. The doctors, like they just didn't know what to do, couldn't figure it out. They then said to my mum, they called her in and my family and just said, look, you guys need to prepare for a funeral. You need to start putting your last kind of...
So at this point, the doctor just have to break the news to them that they have to begin to prepare for her funeral. This is very devastating moment for this family. I can't even want to imagine it. It's a very devastating moment for this family. A young girl with a young baby as well. Almost all her system has shut down. She's in the coma. There is no hope again. And let's hear what happened next.
Things in place and stuff, and has she seen her daughter, maybe bring the daughter to the hospital and stuff. And my mum was like, okay, I've heard you. And they were looking at her like, no, did you hear us? And she's like, yeah, we heard you. So then they called my other two sisters and they're like, can you please speak to the mum and just explain to her? They called the mental nurse, the mental health nurse, you know, she's probably having a bit of a break, and the pastor to speak to my mum. My mum said, I've heard you. So that night when they took that Friday.
So now the doctor was trying to get this message across to the mother, and the mother was like, okay, I've heard you. So, you know, there is an expectation, there is an expected reaction that probably the doctor was watching out from the mother. Probably she would start tearing up, start crying and all of that. Oh, but she didn't do that. She didn't do that. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, evidence of things not seen. Let's see what the mother did. Instead of crying, instead of weeping, let's see what the mother did.
In night, she booked the flight to Abuja. She came to Abuja from London, and imagine they've just told her to prepare for my enemy's funeral. She's booked the flight, she's come, she's left my two sisters. She said to them, don't stop praying, just keep praying. When she got to Abuja the Saturday, they found a bed for me. In order for them to find a bed for me in that specialist hospital, they have to do all manners of checks and balance. They have to decide who's got more survival rate. They already said I had a 2%. They already said they didn't know what to do with me, but somehow God showed favor. The day my mum got...
So at this point, the doctor has confirmed that she has only 2% rate of survival. My goodness, can you hear that? This is not that she had a 40-40 or 50-50% to survive. This is 2%. That is to say that she's as good as a dead person. But when the mother arrived, the mother booked flights. The day that they told her, okay, go and prepare for a funeral, she booked a flight down to Nigeria. My dear, what God cannot do, prosperity exists. Listen to what happened.
To NSPPD, they moved me. By the time she got back, I was awake. So when she got back from the altar, I was awake. So what I want to explain is when she got to the altar, she said to God, this girl will not die. She dropped her seed. She came and prayed on the altar, and she promised God that I will physically come back and give my testimony. So when we got back to the hospital, I was awake. All the nurses, they couldn't recognize me. Like when I woke up, I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk. Like when I first woke up, I was like tubes in my throat, everything. I was trying to take it out, I couldn't move. And then when the rehab started, I remember there was one, actually, let me go back, because before I came out of that, when my mum came to Abuja, there was a night where I was just facing so many attacks in my dream. And then Pastor Jerry and my mum were standing in front of me. People were trying to get me, and they were standing in front of me. And they kept saying, you can't have her. You can't have her. And my mum kept pulling me out. And when I woke up, I just remember so many of those encounters when, I felt like I was going to die in my dream. People were actually trying to kill me. And my mum would just come.
At this point, I am actually feeling so emotional because I can't know how to describe this God. This is already a settled case in the kingdom of darkness. But God came through for her. I feel like shedding tears right now. Let's continue because God has done it.
Or something would just pull me out, but there was just that particular night where Pastor Jerry and my mum said, no, it's enough. And then there was a wall of fire. And when I woke up that night, when I started my rehab, when the doctors and the nurses come up in the morning, they're like, do you feel like doing this rehab? Do you feel like rehabilitating yourself? I said, it's not about do I feel like it. I will do it because I know the God that I serve. They said it would take 2 years for me to recover. They said I wouldn't be able to walk. I wouldn't be able to talk. I would need aid for 2 years. My daughter's first birthday was in April. I walked into the hall with her. We danced in with her. I said, when I woke up from the coma, I was writing on the board, I'm a project manager, I'm an IT consultant. So on the board every day, I would write down the tasks for the doctors. I would be telling them what is going to happen. Tell just take it easy. Don't be too ambitious. I said, you people don't seem to understand my God. It's okay. On the wall, we wrote, what God cannot do does not exist. They knew. The doctors and nurses that treated me in intensive care when I was in a coma, they went out of their way to come and see me, because when people were like, oh, she's awake, they genuinely thought I was gonna die in that hospital. So they came to see, and they just said, no, this can only be God. And another thing I just want to just point out, because there's so many testimonies in that period, but my mum heard from God, and God told her, don't allow people to come and see her to mourn with you in the hospital. I had no visitors. My mum and my 2 sisters were my only visitors. I had no visitors. My friends, my family, everybody was so upset. My mum said, what God has told me is what I would do. Nobody will see her until she comes back home. And that is exactly what happened. I can't explain, literally, and you know what? The other day when I was just online, and I saw this 19-year-old girl that died from the exact same thing that I had. And I just sat down and I said, God, but who am I that you showed me mercy? She was 19 and she didn't even start life. And I just said, Lord, I am so grateful. So I've come back to give thanks, as my mother vowed we would do. So we're here today to just say, what God cannot do does not exist. Pastor Jerry, I just want to say thank you for being a father, because even in the hospital, they dare not turn that MP3 off. They dare not turn that MP3 off. 24. If my mom should come in that room and NSPPD, they dare not. Even they will be passing it over as notes. Don't turn the MP3 off. The mom is coming. Or don't turn it off. When it's 7 o'clock, they shut my door. They know it's prayer time. And I just want to say, Pastor Jerry, thank you for being a father, because when my mom started with this, I said, Mom, it's noisy, bro. Us British, it's noisy. I'm not really. But now in the morning when I was doing rehab, I was the one making the noise. They were asking, my 16, my baby, she knows Pastor Jerry. When Pastor Jerry comes on, I said, I heard you going, but it's just, I just thank you so much. Thank you for your faith. When Pastor says, if your faith can't carry you, mine will. His faith carried me. My mom's faith carried me. And I just thank God that she forced us to stay and key into that word. And even when everybody was like, Mom, you're making too much noise, she just shut the door and continued her noise. But she didn't leave us as children. She pulled us along. And I just want to say to my mom, if I could be half the mother that my mom is in this generation, she didn't fail. She stopped work. Nothing mattered. She didn't do anything but pray.
This is that point of her mother that I love so much.
She got home at night, she would hold on to my baby daughter and she would use her as a point of contact for me. I just want to say thank you to my mom. Thank you, Pastor Jerry. Thank you so much. God bless you.
So this testimony just got me in tears. I can tell you, like, at times when you are seeing the wonder working power of God at work in people's life, you'll be like, is this real? But these are real life stories. These are real life stories. And I want to use this opportunity to encourage any young lady out there. Can you be this kind of a mother that would not take no for answer over your family, over the children that God will bless you with or has blessed you with? Be that mother, be that Deborah for your family, be that Esther for your family, and you will not regret it. God bless you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for stopping by. And if you have made it to this point, I am grateful to you, God, for bringing you. And if you have not subscribed, my new people on board, please subscribe and hit the notification bell that whenever I upload all these amazing things that God is doing in the life of people through the life of Pastor Jerry Eze and NSPPD, you will also watch. See, nothing is actually impossible with God. With God, all things are possible. See you in my next video. God bless you. See you. Bye.